Hey everyone, I'm a Big Blaze and in this video I want to talk about loot and crests. There is one thing that has been bothering me for a lot of time and I'm sure it's been bothering you as well. Besides that, I feel that the current way we get loot is pretty boring and needs some improvement. On top of that, when we finally get the item that we want, we still need to farm some crests and valor stone. And if you want to have alts, you are looking on a pretty rough ride. Getting loot on alts is tedious to say the least, and I'm not even talking about crests. Before I start, let me know in the comments what do you think on the gearing process in World of Warcraft. Do you have alts or some specs you want to try? Let's start! So first I want to talk about something that has been bothering me for a long time. In these days, the way we get loot is simple. We go into dungeon or raid, defeat the boss and we get some loot. Hopefully the loot we want. If we do get a specific loot we want, in pugs we have to roll for it, and in guild raids we are at the mercy of the loot master. This way of getting loot can be annoying and frustrating. For example, in my guild, DPS players have prio on healers and tanks. Imagine a rare loot from the raid drop, something that you don't get very often, and you are last in the food chain. This is not a good feeling. In this scenario, you probably will never get this item unless you are lucky and you get it in the weekly vault. My solution for this problem is simple, and I hope Blizzard will do it someday. After we defeat raid bosses, we will get some currency depending on the difficulty that will help us buy a specific item that we want from the raid. It doesn't have to be immediate and it can take us some time to get the amount of currency for the item. In this way, loot that we get directly from the raid will stay relevant and lucrative, but for the less fortunate players, they will still get some value from defeating the raid bosses, and more importantly, they will know for a fact that they will acquire the loot that they want in the near future. This solution is perfect in my eyes cause it creates a clear path for players that they can work towards. Loot doesn't have to feel so random. I'm sure there will be players who don't agree with me, but honestly, I think that my solution doesn't hurt them at all. The only purpose of the item is for us to use. And there is no reason why some players will not get some items just because they are unlucky. Loot doesn't have to feel unreachable for the whole season. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts about it. How we acquire the loot is a big problem in my eyes, but there is one more thing that I want to talk about. Actually two, but they go together. Crests and valor stone, especially on alt. Let's say that you finally got the loot that you want, now you have to get some valor stone and crests to upgrade it. Most of the time, if you play the game and do weeklies and other stuff, valor stone is not a problem to get. My problem is with the crests. First, there is 4 kinds of crests. I do understand why Blizzard wanted few kinds of them, but I think that even with one kind you can get the same result. Upgrading your loot doesn't have to be so complicated. Just let players play the game and upgrade the item without the specific crest restriction. The eye level of the loot is restricted by the difficulty anyway. Sadly, in a recent interview, the game director stated that they do like the current crest system and that it meets almost all of their goals. Honestly, it's fine by me if they want to leave the system as it is, but I think that they need to increase the crests you get according to the content you are doing. I think that there should be a way to get more crests along the way, but the main reason I wanted to talk about crests is because of alts. The system is fine the way it is if you play only your main, but if you decide to play on your alt, the way you get crest is tedious and boring. Something that Blizzard must do is to increase the crests you get on your alt. For example, if I want to get max eye level crafted gear on my alt, I need to get 90 gilded crests, the same as my main. As someone that like to try different kind of specs, I find it very hard to get crests on my alt cause it takes a lot of time. The bottom line is that if you want to play on your alts, you don't have to spend a lot of time getting crests. Alts should get more crests, period. Overall, I hope that Blizzard will change the way loot works, cause a lot of time it feels like it's impossible to get a specific item that you want. The solution I suggested suits perfectly for the game and give purpose to all players. If you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe, it helps me a lot. Thank you for watching, peace.